He's smiling. He's smiling.
Yes, but he's not introducing.
नमस्कार
गंजू जी नमस्ते।
नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार नमस्कार।
मल्होत्रा जी आप अनम्यूट कर ले, तो वेलकम कर ले, टाइम शुरू हो गया तो जनरल हेलो हाय कर ले।
2-4 मिनट वेट कर ले।
हाँ
एक्सीलेंसी
देखते हैं, हेलो हाय इंट्रोडक्शन वगैरह कर लेते हैं क्योंकि ऑनलाइन है मीटिंग।
हाँ वो जब इंट्रोडक्शन कर ले।
यस, लेट्स इंट्रोड्यूस अवरसेल्व्स। अभी हमारे पास टाइम है, इतने गेस्ट आ रहे हैं, ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं। कैप्टन प्रीति वेलकम, जसलीन कपानी वेलकम।
Thank you.
जयप्रकाश जी जोधपुर से
Hi everyone, good evening.
नमस्कार।
Treasurer of Trinidad and Tobacco, Dr. Roger Gopal is with us. High Commissioner of Comoros, Mr. Ganjuji is with us.
Oh, I'm not a high commissioner. I am a consul general. Please.
From Mr. Om Prakash Gupta ji has joined. Welcome, sir. बम्बानी जी हैं ही हमारे। Welcome, Excellency.
Thank you all.
Dr. Roger Gopal.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you, my friend?
Mr. Junaid Ansari ji is here.
Yes, doing good. Yes, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm actually fine. How are you, my friend?
I am doing very well.
Oh,
Thank you
good.
very much.
Very good. Nice to see you here once again.
Yes, and nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, nice being over here. Very true. Yeah.
Dr. Neelam ji, welcome.
गौरव जी आदाब।
नमस्कार जी।
कैसे हैं आप?
बस बढ़िया जी। आनंद जी वेलकम।
गौरव जी नमस्कार। थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू ज्वाइनिंग। विवेक जी वेलकम। let me try to play the video of ambassador of Morocco. Try करते थे.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all. Let me at the outset express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the Indian Council for Human Relations for giving me a window this evening and for the honor to be a part of this special evening commemorating a living legend and paying tribute to unique individuals in its time among the minds of different generations.
Namaskar, good evening.
नमस्कार जी डिंगरा जी.
Oh, namaskar, अच्छा आनंद जी आप. Welcome, welcome. गौरव जी क्या? गौरव जी आप. रोहता साहब भी आ गए. गौरव जी नमस्कार.
Welcome, Excellency. We have Excellency of Mozambique. Excellency, can you unmute? We cannot hear you. Yes, Excellency. Good evening.
Yes, good evening to you all. Thank you
Welcome.
very
Good to
much.
see-
Yes,
Good to see you after so long.
yes, it's a pleasure always.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to see you.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Welcome, Dingra ji.
नमस्कार जी सर.
मल्होत्रा जी आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है तो कुछ आप इंट्रोडक्शन वगैरह कीजिए क्योंकि
हाँ इंट्रोडक्शन कर दीजिए या वो मोरक्को के एम्बेसडर की वो रिलीज कर दीजिए. मोरक्को का एम्बेसडर का मैसेज रिलीज कर दीजिए.
गंजी साहब नमस्कार.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all of you. Let me at the outset express my sincere thanks and deep appreciation to the Indian Council for Human Relations for giving me a window this evening commemorating a living legend and paying tribute to a unique individual in his kind who marked the minds of different generations and will certainly continue to do so. I name the Nobel Prize late Mr. Nelson Mandela. My sincere apologies also for not being able to be present in the webinar for prior commitments at the same time. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, where are those who can be assembled both at home and worldwide? Late Mandela was and still is a man of great wisdom and tolerance, of coexistence, a man who knew the importance and strength of Africa, a man who believed in its people, a man who fought for the unity and territorial integrity of African nations. In sum, a man of peace, and only great men are capable of making peace. Madiba, the father of the South African nation, had also many friends around the globe, especially in our continent, who had a very soft corner for him, who believed in his legitimate struggle for his cause, which became later on everybody's. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and humility to evoke the special relation late Nelson Mandela had with Morocco, its people, and late King Hassan II. Indeed, in his inaugural speech of 1995, late President Mandela paid a special tribute to the Moroccan king and government, recognizing publicly the important role he played in the struggle of South Africa for liberty and expressing his gratitude to them in the presence of an eminent Moroccan personality and world leaders. Since I would not be as eloquent as him and would not do justice to convey it better than him, and with your permission, allow me to share with you a short video on Morocco and Nelson Mandela connection, in special relation which many may not be aware of. This video is also available for public on YouTube. Let me conclude by hoping that the spirit of all what late Mr. Mandela stood for remain with us and guide us forever. We need it now more than ever. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you for patiently listening the video of Ambassador of Morocco, who for the another meeting is not present physically here today. And he has shared one more video, which will be sharing you soon about Mr. Mandela. So, Malata ji, how would you like to start?
Let me begin. Friends, I welcome you all in this webinar on International Day of Mandela. United Nations declared in 2009 to celebrate International Mandela Day, and the first day was held in July 18th, 2010. Nelson Mandela was born on 18th July 1918, and he lived for 95 years. Who is the members of Indian Council for Human Relations? When our organization was not formed, even then our members were associated in 1970 with African National Congress representatives who used to come from South Africa, especially Mr. Bulla. We organized South African and Indian writers meeting in Theatre Communication Building, and you will be surprised to know in the audience, Harivansh Rai Bachchan, the father of Amitabh Bachchan, our national poet, Shri Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, and Banke Bihari Bhatnagar, they were in audience. We had several meetings. We organized several sessions against racial discrimination and apartheid. Mandela who spent 27 years in prison. He was fighting against racial discrimination. He was fighting against it. He was fighting against injustice meted out to the black people of South Africa. It reminds me to say it was June 16th, 1976. Small boys, students of primary classes, they raised their voice that the language of black people must be taught in their schools. And a small demonstration took place. There was a boy, his name was Hector Patreon. He was beaten to death. That was the racial discrimination. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in jail. And his jail room was 8 feet by 4 feet. He was confined to small cell. And the floor was his bed. He used to get a bucket of water for the toilet. And he was allowed one visitor for 30 minutes in a year. You can imagine the indomitable spirit of a gentleman, his courage, his strong determination to fight against injustice. We, the people of India, always stood by the people of South Africa against apartheid, against racial discriminations. But Nelson Mandela visited India 19th 19th 1990. He was accorded the great honor of Bharat Ratna by the people of India. So we in India was part and parcel of the struggle against apartheid. But when 1989, the apartheid regime was over, whosoever came from South Africa, he was welcomed by us. We organized reception for the ambassadors. We organized for the meetings of the delegates. We organized many other activities. And when Masha Bane, the High Commissioner of South Africa, was here, we accorded a special welcome. And her husband came to India. Here is a photograph. And this photograph is a part of ICHR publication, where it is seen the three leaders of Indian democracy, Mr. Huda, the Chief Minister of Haryana, Shailja Kumari, the Minister, and Hendrik, the Defense Minister, former Defense Minister. They had a meetings. So we, the members of ICHR, were assisting them to have their interactive sessions with the various political parties. So today is the day we decided to celebrate this day and have lessons from the day. Mahatma Gandhi, yeah, I was just showing the picture of Masha Bane and her husband. Her husband came to meet the political leaders and the minister of our country. When he went back, he met with an accident and he was killed. Masha Bane left India, became the Foreign Affairs Minister of South Africa. She used to call me brother. So what I want to say in continuity, that our relationship with South Africa before apartheid and after apartheid are going very well. And Mahatma Gandhi was an icon for Mr. Mandela. Mandela used to say that Mahatma Gandhi is my guru. And in that way, he says, there is no comparison between me and Mahatma Gandhi. Today, when we remember Mandela, he used to say, never give up hope. The struggle is in life. I will continue fighting for freedom until the end of my days. And he fought till the last day of his life. He used to say, learn the art of compromise. He used to say, violence is not the answer. He used to say, learn how to forgive. So today, we the members of ICHR, as decided by UN, that his birthday, the July 18th, because it falls on Sunday, we decided to celebrate this day and carry the flag of friendship against racial discrimination. With these words, I thankful to Mr. Gaurav Gupta for coordinating this program and thank the excellencies who have come to participate and the audience which I am watching. With these words, I welcome you again and let Mr. Gaurav Gupta to carry on this program.
Thank you, Malhotra ji. Thank you for your nice and kind word. Always you are encyclopedia of all embassies and all world leaders. Thank you very much. I would like to welcome His Excellency Ambassador of Namibia, Mr. Gabriel, His Excellency Gabriel. Welcome, sir. Please start your video. We have Trade Commissioner of Namibia, Mr. Oscar, with us. We have Ambassador of Morocco with us, Excellency. Welcome. And we have other dignitaries also. I couldn't see the name. So please start your video and share your name so that I can welcome you officially. Thanks for joining. So let's start. We are waiting for our chief guest also. I couldn't find the ambassador of South Africa right now. If he is there here, can start his video. Excellency, please welcome. Now we start with our Excellency Ambassador of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Roger Gopal, to share his words. Welcome, Excellency.
Welcome to all of you and namaste. Thank you, moderator, excellencies, distinguished speakers, and other guests. It's truly a pleasure of mine joining all of you today in this very auspicious occasion, International Mandela Day. Nelson Mandela represented to us in the Caribbean an icon. While being a little boy and growing up, I've learned about the apartheid system from the Caribbean perspective. We looked at what was happening in South Africa with great horror and much regret, I might add. And we saw Nelson Mandela as this legendary freedom fighter. In fact, what many people may not be aware of is that many Caribbean countries actually joined with the anti-apartheid movement. Trinidad and Tobago in particular contributed significantly against this struggle of an apartheid regime. We give our passports to the freedom fighters, those who stood against the apartheid movement. And even to this day, there are many freedom fighters who exist in South Africa that still hold our old Trinidad and Tobago passport and consider themselves to be honorary citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So we were very fundamental and essential in the struggle against the apartheid regime. In 2004, I distinctly remember the visit of Nelson Mandela to the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. It was one of our most memorable moments, in the history of Trinidad and Tobago to have a man of such magnitude visit our shores. I never thought that one day I would see South Africa, but in 2016, the government of Trinidad and Tobago appointed me as the ambassador to South Africa and 10 other countries in the Southern African continent. Therein, I was able to interact with a number of individuals who knew Nelson Mandela personally, including his children, his friends, and even the attorney, George Bissus, who defended Nelson Mandela. I was able to have a lunch with attorney George Bissus and learned from him his perspective, his experience on what Nelson Mandela endured for 27 years and the freedom fighter behind the scenes, which most people did not know. I learned from his children, who was this man called Nelson Mandela, who was this father that stood by them, even though he was behind bars. In so doing, over the years, I formulated in my mind 3 aspects of this great legend, 3 aspects of who we know as Nelson Mandela. And the first one I will call Nelson Mandela, the social activist and freedom fighter. What did he fight for? Exactly what was his struggle about? And Nelson Mandela believed wholeheartedly in the equality of all human beings, that regardless of our race, regardless of our ethnicity, regardless of our caste and our class, we are all treated equal, and so we must all treat others equal. Nelson Mandela had no fear in defending this ideal. He stood for it, including sacrificing his life. The second aspect of Nelson Mandela that I have learned, he believed in true democracy. He believed in equality for all citizens, regardless of the depth of their pocket, economic status, or social well-being. Nelson Mandela struggled to ensure that all felt a part of the system of his country. And he was also known as a man that was corrupt-free, a lesson that so many of us should learn globally. I also learned of Nelson Mandela, the man, the individual, whom many people may not know. And from his own friends, family, and attorney, I learned that the strength of Nelson Mandela was actually his calmness. Despite the chaos that surrounded him, he remained focused, he remained calm. And that was his greatest strength. What we saw in Nelson Mandela was a man that was committed to duty. What in Hinduism we know as that what was done well, and it was done right, and it was done with the right intentions. As I conclude my brief remarks, I would like to just identify three main lessons that we may use in our lives today, that we may apply at the level of governance, at the level of leadership, and even at our own personal level, lessons that we may learn from this great man called Nelson Mandela. And our first lesson must be that of equality. Irrespective of our status in life, we are all equal, and we must all treat each other as that equal human being. Secondly, despite the troubles and the trials that we may face in life, we must all ensure that our inner world remains very calm, as Nelson Mandela did. And thirdly, we must do right because it is the right thing to do. With these words from the life of Nelson Mandela, I conclude, and I once again thank and the administrators of this one on this.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Thank you for enlightening us know the role of Trinidad tobacco in the freedom struggle of South Africa. It's great to hear from you. Now, I would like to welcome Ambassador of Namibia, His Excellency Gabriel, to share his views and to say something. His Excellency Gabriel. And I would request other excellencies, because I cannot see their videos and they are present here, so they can start their videos and we can hear from them. I think he is busy right now, Excellency Gabriel. I would request Ambassador of Mozambique, His Excellency Anil Window. Excellency, please start your video and share your view. I think he is also looking some busy, because some simultaneous meeting is going on. Many Ambassador is busy in 2 meetings. So Malhotra ji, who is next? We got Mr. Alphonse. Malhotra ji. Malhotra ji, can you hear me? Now we request Mr. Harvey Kolibali. Harvey.
Yes.
Yes, please speak and share your views.
Namaste, everyone. Okay. About this icon, African icon, South Africa, and all of the world icon, today is Nelson Mandela International Day. This celebration, I think, is to the memory of this military, this African who fought for freedom and also fight for equity. That means this person is the leader of Africa today, who embodies many, I can say, positive and diversity of good person in life. Nelson Mandela today, as the previous communicators have said, because the ambassador of Trinidad and Tobago has been appointed there, he said he met his family physically, and also our senior Mandotra also has experience, direct experience with the family of Nelson and himself, maybe. What I can say, my country has participated a lot for the liberation of Nelson Mandela, because our our country citizen. Everyone stood up against apartheid, because when we all know that in South Africa, Mandela was in detention for this freedom fight. So in all of West Africa, many people of, if you take artists, many artists have done the fight as they can. Some people have made a song to call everyone in the international level to just contribute to liberate Mr. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, as an icon and leader, this memory has to be followed forward. This is my thought. It's because he had many positive behavior in his lifetime. So that positive behavior, if you take patience, to be patient in life is very good. To be also to forgive people, because he learned to forgive. Because after his prison, when he became a president, he didn't take it as something to fight people. He became a then peaceful person, and that have given him an award for that. He got this prize of peace internationally. And as my previous communicator was saying about Gandhi Mahatma, who was considered as a non-violence person. So Nelson Mandela has also been in this way of thinking. So today, I think this person is so big, it will be difficult to tell anything about him in one day, because we can write, I think, many books about him. So what we just talk about him, and everyone can say something a little bit about this big man who will never die, because he's now in memory forever. This is this icon now is a proudness of Africa for all of the world. You know, when you say that Nelson Mandela is not because of the continent is our continent, but now he's not an African icon, but he's now internationally he's all of the world icon, and this is a good thing for us also to know that. Okay. So Nelson Mandela, as I said, we are not going to his history because Sir Malotra has said a little bit about his history, but the behavior we have to follow, that is the thing I want to focus on. Behavior of non-violence, to be patient, and also to not take things bad about people who have done bad to you. This is what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, dear. We'd like to see the video of Nelson Mandela, which is shared by His Excellency Ambassador of Morocco. We have just heard his speech, so he was mentioning the video. So we would like to see the video.
And became the Minister of African Affairs. I visited this country in April 1962, and I said to him, I want to see His Majesty your King. He said, what for? I said, we have established an army. We want our soldiers trained. We want weapons. We want money. He said he understood my mission very well, precisely because he himself had gone through the experience we were undertaking. He said, get your men to Jerusalem. I will send a plane to bring them to my country, and I will train the soldiers. He said, what arms do you want? And where should I deliver them? I gave him details, and I said that deliver them to Jerusalem. He said, how much do you want? I said, I want 5,000 British pounds. Those days, 1,000 pounds was something like $1 million today.
But right now we're running the
You
video.
come back here tomorrow.
The video.
I returned.
Can you hear the video clearly?
He had said I should be there at 9, I was there at 8.
It will be basic. Yeah, I understand it is a problem with the net connection from the other end. No worries, but you can join right now.
I want no record. I want you to go and
Yeah, I can invite you for 2 minutes. You can share
Then he
your
asked the question, do you still want
Thank
to
you.
see his mother in the team? I say, no, I don't. This is Dr. El Hatim from the Kingdom of Morocco. I want you to give him another chance. Our thanks go to this gentleman who was one of those architects of our ancestors.
Thank you very much for seeing the video, which was shared by the Embassy of Morocco, His Excellency Ambassador of Morocco. So there was some connection problem with the Embassy of Namibia. Now I think His Excellency has joined us. Excellency, welcome. We welcome the Ambassador of Namibia, His Excellency Gabriel Sidimbo. Sir, would like to hear from you. Please, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. My apologies for the hiccup. Your Excellencies, High Commissioners and Ambassadors, distinguished panelists and listeners. The High Commission of Namibia to India is humbled and honored to be part of this august platform to celebrate through our interventions today, paying tribute to the International Mandela Day, which is annually commemorated on the 18th of July. Nelson Mandela is not an ordinary former South African president, but undoubtedly is a world icon. His name rings a bell wide and clear to most of us, if not all. He was, and he is still the paragon of charm, humility, and heroism. The latter earned him various awards and honors. Numerous names, bridges, buildings, statues around the world are named after him, all due to what he resembles,
his sacrifices, contributions to the world and mankind. Collectively, as a world, we agree with the narrative of Nelson Mandela International Day designation and dedication every year to shine light on the legacy of a man who changed the 20th century and helped shape the 21st. This is a moment for all to renew values that inspired Nelson Mandela. Why so much arrogance and honor, we perhaps ask. He won the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1993 along with South Africa's president at the time, Mr. de Klerk, for having led the transition from apartheid to a multiracial democracy. Mandela is also known for being the best black president of South Africa, who served the tenure 1994 to 1999. Now, during 1994, his state nation address, Mandela expressed his commitment to the emancipation of women and called for equality across systems in South Africa. He asked hundreds of men and women into political sphere. We recall how Mandela fought for children to have the right and access to education, as he believed in education as being the most powerful weapon which one can use to change the world. In the year 2003, his foundation launched the 46664 initiative to fight against HIV/AIDS. The UN AIDS Agency said Mandela's campaign laid the foundation for the modern AIDS response, and this influence helped save millions of lives and transform health in Africa. Madiba, as is well known in South Africa, embodied courage and light. Through him, people mastered the strength of hope that freedom will prevail. For Namibians, we celebrate Mandela as a warrior, a loyal comrade, and a brother. In fact, for Namibia, not only do we share the national borders, we were under the same apartheid regime system, colonized by the same minority imperialists and the racist rulers. Some of our leaders who were fighting for our independence from the regime were imprisoned on Robben Island alongside Mandela, such as the Andimba Toivoya Toivo, who's now late, on Robben Island for 16 years as a political freedom fighter. Mandela carried an inspiration for things, in particular the party, which is the ruling party, which shared the same trenches in national liberation struggles with the ANC, the political party that was led by Mandela. We know that South Africa, in celebrating this day, they annually plant trees on this day to contribute to climate change. Some take their time to donate food to people in need. Some volunteer to work for others' organizations or volunteer to join protests related to injustices, human rights violations, or segregation. All these are meant to celebrate what Mandela resembles and the selfless human being whom he was. With all awards and honor, he refused to be seen otherwise other than a human being. Imagine being locked up in a tiny prison cell for 27 years. For us, we cannot even keep up with the lockdowns, despite having all these gadgets and amenities at our disposal. For Namibia, We are concluding by saying, may the spirit of Mandela and the spirit of Ubuntu prevail. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I revert back to you.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you for your speech. I would like to invite our Honorary Consul General of Union of Comoros, Shri Kanhaiya Ganjuji, to share his views.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gaurav Gupta, for giving me this opportunity. Excellencies, High Commissioners, Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. K.L. Malhotra and Mr. Gaurav Gupta of Indian Council for Human Relations, first for organizing this webinar on the International Day of Nelson Mandela, and for inviting me on this great occasion. Nelson Mandela was born on 18th of July 1918, and he lived his life till 5th of December 2013. Much has been already spoken about his personality, his vision, and his dedication for the cause of democracy around the world. I need not elaborate any further on that. Personally, leave their mark on the world, and the world remembers them. The personality of Mr. Nelson Mandela was such that he was born in a royal cave, South Africa, democracy, peace, and prosperity. Such type of persons, very few in the world, have spoken some words which have left a mark on everybody's mind. When I was surfing the Google, I find out one sentence said by Mr. Nelson Mandela, and that really appeared. Said, "It is easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build." And that is the necessity of the world today. You don't have to break down and destroy. You have to sit and talk peace and build the world. Further to this, when I wanted to see what the UN resolution said about Mr. Mandela when this day was, resolution was passed to recognize 18th of July as International Nelson Mandela Day, I was further, it made me so happy, and it is complete, assessment of a personality of whom which we are talking today. And I quote, November 2009, in recognition of the former South African President's contribution to the culture of peace and freedom, UN General Assembly declares 18th July Nelson Mandela International Day. Resolution recognizes Mandela's value and his dedication to the service of humanity in conflict resolution, race relations, promotion and protection of human rights, reconciliation, gender equality, and right of children and other vulnerable groups, the fight against poverty, the promotion of social justice. The resolution acknowledges his contribution to the struggle for democracy internationally and the promotion of a culture of peace throughout the world, unquote. If one very carefully reads this resolution again and again, the UN in its wisdom, all the countries around the world supported it 100%, has left no other thing what the world needs even today. We need peace all around the world. We need human rights to be protected. We need rights of the children to be protected. We need promotion of social justice, etc., etc. So therefore, the legend, the icon of Nelson Mandela will be remembered for centuries and centuries to come. The resolution, in my opinion, speaks volumes about the highest standards Mr. Nelson Mandela set for the rest of the world. So having said all that, I don't have anything else to say because everything has been said already by the speakers, the ambassadors, high commissioners, and we have been enlightened by what they have said. In the end, I will only say, in India, we say, Amar Rahe means you have become immortal. So I will say Nelson Mandela, Amar Rahe. Thank you very much and God bless you. Be safe and take care of this COVID problem. Hopefully, we will not face the third, wave. I will pray to the Almighty to save all of us from this very, very dangerous thing. God bless you all. Thank you very much for inviting me once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ganju. On behalf of our chief guest, Ambassador of South Africa, His Excellency, he is getting some technical problem. So we have Mr. Thurston Mati from the Embassy of South Africa. He would like to convey the message of His Excellency. You are most welcome. Kindly unmute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and apologies. Is it working?
Yeah, now okay.
I can do it. All right. First of all, let me just convey the apologies on behalf of the High Commissioner for not being able to be here tonight. As I said, he's just having some technical difficulties. But I'm from the South African High Commission, New Delhi, and I'll be happy to deliver the remarks on behalf of His Excellency. Program Director, General Secretary, Mr. Maholcha, members of the Indian Council for Human Relations, fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen. It is perhaps prudent to start this discussion firstly by expressing the gratitude for the invitation extended to the South African High Commission to participate as a chief guest in this august event, organized by the Indian Council for Human Relations, and say that it is a privilege to be sharing inputs and contribution from South Africa's perspective on the values of Nelson Mandela. The theme for the celebrations, as decided by the Nelson Mandela Foundation, is, quote, food insecurity and culture of lawlessness. COVID-19 has deepened patterns of poverty and inequality, unquote. This webinar is taking place, therefore, on the eve of the birthday of the South African revolutionary, president and world icon, an occasion that millions around the world celebrate as Mandela Day. We as South Africans are called to commemorate, remember, re-evaluate, and rethink what it means to live and die for one's beliefs. Like all of us, Mandela is a child of his environment. So many paid the ultimate price of sacrifice. So many stood side by side with Madiba, echoing his beliefs, strengthening each other's conviction, fueling the fire for freedom, and nurturing the seedling of consciousness. Shoulder to shoulder with one of the greatest leaders in the world, we must never forget the ordinary citizens that sacrificed so much to liberate our great nation, the heroes of South Africa and the heroes among our sisters and brothers across the continent. A great moral and political leader of our time, we immortalize him as an international hero whose lifelong dedication to the fight against racial oppression in South Africa delivered a triumphant victory of freedom and democracy for humankind. In the fight against apartheid, he has been at the center of one of the most powerful and compelling political dramas the world has ever seen. He has inspired a movement that was not only instrumental in shifting the nation, but the global community towards human rights and racial equality. On Nelson Mandela's birthday, the 18th, and throughout the month of July, the world embarks on an extensive social upliftment project in the spirit of celebration and perpetuating the legacy of Nelson Mandela. As a sign of solidarity to future generations to keep Madiba's flame alive, we embark on a collective mission to change the lives of the most vulnerable and address the challenges that face their communities. This becomes a solemn time to embody the values of the Freedom Charter, to elevate the collective above the individual, a time to reflect, a time to look forward, a time to rekindle the flame of South Africa we dream of, a time to join the path on the long walk to freedom. In homage to Tata Nelson Mandela's humanitarian legacy, we are called to pledge our help and active citizenship for those in need as a symbol of his many years of selfless service. After the progress of Mandela Day over the elapsed years since our leader's passing, a challenge that persists at the heart of the social activism is the capacity and strength to stay true to our pledge and to make sure that our good intentions are not simply lip service in the month of July, but a genuine impulse that informs our daily decisions and behavior. While President Mandela saw himself first and foremost as a servant of South Africa's people, his commitment to public service extended to making our world a better place for all. His vision for social justice and freedom for all demands us to become part of a continuous global movement for good. Former President Mandela worked tirelessly in the struggle for democracy and for the promotion and protection of human rights internationally. Nelson Mandela was a symbol of hope for the oppressed and marginalized people across the globe. He dedicated his life in service of humanity and contributed immensely to the promotion of a culture of peace throughout the world. He will always be remembered worldwide for his values and dedication to the service of humanity in the fields of conflict resolution, reconciliation, the promotion and protection of the rights of children, gender equality, and in the uplifting of the poor. I thank you.
Thank you very much for joining on the behalf of His Excellency. And I would like to admit, because South Africa has a very special space in the heart of Indians, and it is very pious region. And Nelson Mandela is not for only South Africa or Africa, but as a great world leader. It is rightly said, we have sent Gandhi to South Africa, but you have sent Mahatma to us. So South Africa is a special place for Indians in their heart. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite Professor Suresh Kumar, who is from Delhi University and Institute of African Studies. Sir, welcome.
Good evening. His Excellency, Mr. J.S. Nilbete, High Commissioner of South Africa, Chief Guest of today's webinar. His Excellency, Mr. Mohammed Maliki, Ambassador of Morocco. His Excellency, Mr. Gabriel Senimbo, High Commissioner of Namibia. His Excellency, Dr. Roger Gopal, Ambassador Trinidad and Tobago. His Excellency, Mr. Harvey de Colibelli, and respected consulate journals and councillors. Shri Prem Singh Dhingraji, Vice President, ICHR. Shri K.L. Malhotraji, General Secretary. Shri Gaurav Gupta, Treasurer, ICHR. All dignitaries, Dr. Rashmi Kapoor, and all my dear colleagues, and my research scholar from Department of African Studies, Delhi University. First of all, I wish you all happy International Nelson Mandela Day. As we know, Nelson Mandela was born in 1918 at Maviso, a tiny village on the banks of Mashe River in the district of Umtata, the capital of Transkei in South Africa. The year of Mandela's birth marked the end of Great War, the visit of a delegation of the African National Congress to Versailles Peace Conference to voice the grievances of African people of South Africa, and even the outbreak of an influenza epidemic that killed millions throughout the world. He received good education in the Christian English school and learned a lot about the world society. At the age of 19, Mandela college principal at Helltown inspired him a lot. His principal was Dr. Arthur Wellington College principal, who was the descendant of great Duke of Wellington, aristocrat, statesman, and general, who crushed the Frenchman Napoleon at Waterloo and thereby saved civilization for Europe and for you, the natives in South Africa. This educated Englishman was our model, but we inspired to be a black Englishman, as we were sometimes jokingly called. Dr. Arthur was the inspiration for Mandela also. And it was the time when Mandela was young, it was the time when apartheid practices divided the society. When Madiba grows up, he can hold Africans only job, rent a house in Africans only townships, ride Africans only trains, and be stopped at any time of day or night and be ordered to produce a pass without which he can be arrested and thrown in jail. His life is circumscribed by the racist laws and regulations that cripple his growth, dim his potential, and stunt his life. During his stay in Alexandra slum, known as the Dark City, as it had no electricity, I like to quote Mandela. He said, although the racial policies of the present government have destroyed its social fabric and reduced it to the ghost town, here I learned to adjust myself to urban life and came into physical contact with all the evils of white supremacy. It was a typical slum area, overcrowded and dirty, with undernourished children running around naked or in the filthy rags. It armed with all kinds of religious sects, gangsters and shebeens, unquote. You know, it was the time when Roosevelt and Churchill have signed the Atlantic Charter 1941 and reaffirmed faith in the dignity of each human being and propagated a host of democratic principles. So inspired by this Atlantic Charter, the ANC created its own charter and called for full citizenship for all Africans, the right to buy land, and the repeal of all discriminatory legislation. Today, we are celebrating Nelson Mandela Day in India. I remember the Smuts government in 1946 passed the Asiatic Land Tenure Act and curtailed the free movement of Indians, circumscribed the areas where Indians could reside and trade, and restricted their right to buy property. And in return, the white government gave them the representation in parliament. But the Indian community, they rejected it. And the Dr. Dadu, president of Transvaal Indian Congress, he dismissed this offer of parliamentary representation as it is an offer of sham franchise. Mandela said this law known as the Ghetto Act, and it was a great insult to the Indian community and anticipated the Group Areas Act, which would eventually circumscribe the freedom of all South Africans of color. I like to share with one example of 1948 general elections of white community in which the National Party, they put the slogans, the black danger, the nigger in his place, the coolies out of the country. Such kind of discriminatory slogans were given by the National Party at that time, and it was criticized. And that time Mandela said that we will work for our own people, our own language, and our own land. And later on, the white government, they passed the Bantu Education Act, as we know, and it was also opposed as Mandela said that the Africans has lost all opportunities, and the apartheid government trained Africans to be menial workers only. And remember, I remembering another important incident when the white government banned Mandela in attending the ANC Transvaal Conference. It was the year 1954. And please allow me to share the best part of the Mandela speech. He said, the famous line, the no easy walk to freedom, has explained the South Africans black now had to be prepared for new forms of political struggle. The oppressed people and the oppressors are at loggerheads. The day of reckoning between the forces of freedom and those reaction is not far off. I haven't the slightest doubt that the day come truth and justice will prevail. To overthrow oppression has been sanctioned by the humanity and is the highest aspiration of every free man. On 5th December 1956, Mandela received a warrant, and that warrant, mentioned the hook we read, that means high treason. The sealed policemen arrested Mandela, and massive crowd of supporters, they blocked the traffic on the roads. And even that time, because Mandela is very visionary, imagine it looked like a Trump procession. At the age of 42 years, Mandela witnessed the shooting of Sharpeville massacre of 1960 that provoked the national turmoil and government crisis. Outraged protest came in from across the globe, and the small group of Mandela, Walter, Domanokova, and Joyce Lovo, they held a all-night meeting and called for the stay-home protest. And the country responded magnificently, and thousands of Africans, they observed and they stayed at home. This was the very important movement at that time, and I remember that early morning, it was around 1:30 a.m. in the midnight, you can say, or early morning. Mandela was awakened by the police, and He was arrested and he was jailed. And when in the court, he got the opportunity to speak in the court. And that time also, it was asked that whether democracy could be achieved through gradual reforms. Mandela suggested that yes, it could. And there was daily chronicle of violent clashes, regular attacks, and all this violence. But Mandela said that we demand universal adult franchise, and we are prepared to exert economic pressure to attain our demands. We will launch defiance campaigns, stay at homes, either singly or whole family, until the government should say, gentlemen, we cannot have this state of affair, laws being defied, and this whole situation created by the stay at home, let's talk. This let's talk, it is the philosophy of Mandela, and believe in the non-violence approach, and that's why Mandela always talked about democracy and with the multi-party system and the universal franchise. I like to share one jail experience of Mandela. And it was the time when the white prime minister assassinated, and Mandela writes that although Verwoerd was one of the most insensitive of prime ministers in this country, who regarded Africans as animals, worse than animals in many cases, nevertheless, one didn't feel happy that he was assassinated. What is even more is the way the prison authorities retaliated for his assassination, as if we were responsible for that. He gave the example of the warden of another prison who came to Mandela's prison, and you know that warden, he had a typical habit. Wherever he felt he should urinate, he relieve himself, he would just urinate where he was standing instead of going away to urinate in privately. And one day he urinated next to the table where Mandela dished the foods, and Mandela and all the prisoners, they had a strong protest. But the most important thing is that Mandela said that, see, we are not fighting against the whites as such, but against white supremacy, a policy that is fully reflected in the racial composition of the principal structures of the organization. And after the independence, we will have a multi-party democracy. And when Mandela released from the jail, 91, he immediately started working on social philosophy of developing harmony in the society. And that time it was not a simple task, when the human beings are themselves clutches in the heavy chains of color discrimination and practiced it directly or indirectly in their lives. This discriminatory approach in the society has conscious implementation with the vertical division in the society, and practiced those standard of life in their lives. And after the 94 elections, when Mandela had a thumping majority votes, he had played a major role in resolving conflict through participating in peace-building processes, involved all in framing the constitution and in implement peace, equality, and fraternity. I like to quote here Mandela: "We who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given a rare privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our soil. We have at last achieved our political emancipation. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa." And today, on the occasion of International Mandela Day, I conclude with Mandela's affirmative approach of building a rainbow nation. And he said, "Some leave nothing behind, nor that they never existed at all. Others do leave something behind. the haunting memory of the evil deeds that committed against other people, gross violation of human rights. Let's better their lives by creating jobs, building houses, schools and hospitals, introducing electricity and bringing clean and healthy water to people, especially in the rural areas. The aim is to remove the gap between rich and poor, the educated and uneducated, the healthy and those affected by preventable diseases. So these are the principles of democratic South Africa, working for the equality, practice and building the rainbow nation. I wish you again a very happy International Nelson Mandela Day. Thanks for the patience listening. Namaste.
Thank you, Professor Suresh. We have Dr. A.K. Merchant with us from the Bahai organization. We would like to share for 2 minutes. Dr. Merchant.
Just a minute. Shubha Rajan is there.
Sorry?
Madam Shubha Rajan is there.
Yeah, okay, she can say.
If she is there, she was the first to receive Nelson Mandela in India, and she organized the reception for Mr. Mandela. Please call her also if she is available. Yes, Mr. Merchant, continue.
Yeah, very good evening, Excellencies, ambassadors, commissioners, members of the diplomatic corps, and all the distinguished friends. On this occasion of Nelson Mandela Day, the International Nelson Mandela, which we every year commemorate to remember this great human personality for all times, who has blazed many trails, who has shown through his spirit of sacrifice how human beings should live on this planet. One of the things I always remember about him, he said, no human being is an island, no nation is an island. All of our lives on this planet are intertwined. And you know, racism is one of the greatest obstacles in the achievement of the unity of the human race. As a member of the Baha'i community and having been well acquainted with the nation of South Africa, since my sister is settled there for the past 40 years, I often remember this great soul. So briefly, I'm once again grateful to the Indian Council for Human Relations that every year they commemorate this event, remembering Madiba, as we fondly call him. And as we remember him, we are also reminded about the plight of humanity. How we wish that the great teachings, the examples, the wonderful personality that he was can be replicated, and more human beings are able to walk in the path that he walked. We know that the path he walked was not easy. Anybody having suffered for 27 years, being incarcerated in a small prison, knows very well how human beings are being afflicted and tortured and oppressed and suffered. So he was able to align himself with the largest majority of the human beings who are today experiencing so many different types of oppression, sufferings, and afflictions. So I once again pay my humble homage, my tribute, and my sincere and heartfelt remembrance of Madiba on this International Nelson Mandela Day. Thank you very much once again to Shri K.L. Malhotra ji, to Shri Gaurav Gupta ji, and all the trustees of the Indian Council for Human Relations in organizing this webinar.
Thank you, Dr. Merchant.
Most grateful. Thank you.
Shubha ji is there. Shubha Rajan ji. Shubha ji, would like to hear from her. As Malhotra said, she was the first person to host the reception.
She was the first lady to host.
First lady, yeah. Shubha ji, I think. And there are a few more diplomats which we cannot see their pictures and names. So if they want to share, they are most welcome. And otherwise, Malhotra ji, she is not able to join,
Yeah.
so we can invite our Dr. Vivek Agarwal for vote of thanks.
Yeah.
Dr. Vivek Agarwal, most welcome. And I like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Prem Singh Dhingra ji, our Vice President, Kakoli from Guwahati, and other friends from many other states are also here. Mr. Junaid Ansari ji is here, Captain Preeti is here, and many other friends. Dr. Vivek, Kamal Jain ji is here. Welcome, Kamal ji. ममता जी, विवेक जी तो शायद है नहीं, तो वी कैन इनवाइट डॉक्टर मिस्टर प्रेम सिंह डिंगरा जी.
देख लीजिए उनका नाम तो लिखा हुआ है सामने.
Sir, I am there. I am there, sir.
Welcome, Vivek ji, welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, it's been a wonderful experience, and thank you to you, Gaurav ji and KL Malhotra ji, for inviting me. So, may I give my vote of thanks, sir?
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Absolutely. So grateful, sir. Honorable committee and members and ICHR, we are here because of you. Let me start by thanking all our honorable chief guests who could make it here. I think you all would agree with me that all of you have offered us a strong challenge to action. We all have been engaged in searching for sustainable solutions to what have become critical challenges to the human project and stimulus debates. I would like to raise my thanks to all the panelists present here. And many of the points that our panelists make have strong resonance with work being done by the Nelson Mandela. To discuss, if I note down a few things, Nelson Mandela legacy work cannot be about invoking his name when it suits us. It has to be about making the country and the continent of his dreams. Given the size of our youth populations, expulsion and alienation of the youth constitutes a time bomb. We must fix our education systems. Thank you for reminding us that we must enable our young people growing up outside metropolitan areas to stay on the land and to thrive on the land. I could go on and on. Our panelists have given us much to think about today. Thank you. Nelson Mandela International Day is an opportunity to reflect on the life and legacy of a legendary global advocate for dignity, equality, justice, and human rights. On this day, Nelson Mandela's birthday, we at ICHR pay tribute to this extraordinary man who embodied the highest aspirations of the human family. Mandela's calls for solidarity and an end to racism are particularly relevant today, as social cohesion around the world is threatened by division. Societies are becoming more polarized, with hate speech on the rise and misinformation blurring the truth, questioning science and undermining democratic institutions. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has made these ills more acute and rolled back years of progress in the global fight against poverty. As always in times of crisis, it is the marginalized and discriminated against who suffer the most often, while being blamed for problems they did not cause. So to my colleagues, all of you, a big thank you. Let us all honor Mandela's call to action and be empowered by his legacy. Lastly, thank you all for attending today or watching us over internet. Ultimately, it is you who determine the success of this webinar. We have to take responsibility of our future and our country and community's future. It is in our hands to play our part and make a difference in the lives of others. So I thank each and everyone who's present here on behalf of ICHR. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Vivek.
On this day, I want to specially thank Professor Suresh Kumar, because on Monday, he has a heart surgery, and today he was speaking on Mr. Nelson Mandela's day. His dedication, devotion must be appreciated.
Yes, we thank you, Dr. Professor Suresh.
Let us, Malhotra ji, wish him good luck for his operation on.
Yes, wish him a good health.
He had operation on Monday.
Acha, he had operation. That is a very greatness of him to be present here. So let us wish him a speedy recovery.
Yes.
And good health. Good health to everybody. And we should say goodbye now. Malhotra ji is over.
Thank you very much. God bless.